Welcome to Living Faith from the Russellville Christian Center. Planting the seed of truth and growing families in the Word of God.
I was going through several different videos because I wanted to show a video this morning and something that would go along with what we're talking about this morning. And so I went through several different videos, and I even showed some of them to some of y'all. Showed it to Mike, and I showed it to Kirsten, and I think I showed it to Tori, and just some others. I was just trying to decide on what video I was going to play this morning. And then this video hit me, and I just can't think of a better video than this one to show on my title for this morning is My Dad. So, y'all play the video.
Happy Father's Day. And you're the best day in the world. And you're my superhero. And you're my man, my little boy man. Happy Father's Day, Daddy. I love you. Dad.
Yeah. Every year that comes up on my Facebook, and every year I reshare it. Man, it's good stuff, man. To be a dad, it's good. Some of y'all, some of you men, you're going to be a dad one of these days. It's going to be good. Those that are becoming grandfathers and great-grandfathers, man, I look forward to those days because it's going to be good. Dads, once we get through raising them, I'm going to believe it's going to be good. Yeah. It's good all along the way, though. And I show that video because this morning, what I want to talk to you about from my title is not talk to you about my dad, but I want to talk to you from the subject of dads. How great is it to be my dad? Well, my dad, you know what I'm saying? My dad, he's my superhero. You see, well, my dad, you know, my dad's a State Farm agent. You know, I've seen that commercial with my dad. Well, my dad is this, and those are those moments that we as fathers, man, we cherish those moments because, you know, I'm not one of those that lives through my children. I'm not. I lived life. I'm still living life, and I still got a lot of life to live. And when my kids are out of the house, that was my Tim Brooks. Woo! We're going to still live life and have fun, but also, man, there's just something inside of you that just goes off when there are those moments that are my dad moments. And if you're a real dad, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's crazy because it can be the smallest thing. Your kid gets an award at school. Your kid gets good grades at school. Another kid just says something about how good your kid is. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's those my dad moments. And what I want to say to you this morning is, dads, let's not forget that stuff. We're going to hand that down. We're causing generations. You see, because as a dad, you're never forgotten. No, your legacy lives on. Now, moms, you're great, and we love you, moms, but today's about dads. Okay? I'm not trying to leave you out. Just understand, today is about dads and how great they are. So I want to talk to you this morning about being that dad, being that person in that young person's life, and being a dad doesn't stop. I'm 43 years old. And I think. And my dad is still my dad. And my dad didn't do everything right. He didn't do everything wrong. But I still love my dad. For those that your father has gone on, and he's with the Lord now. He's with the dad of dads. You know. You remember things about your dad. And if you didn't have a good worldly dad, you know what God is saying? I'm your dad. And anytime you do something, he's up there going, that's my kids. I get to be my dad. I get to be my dad. He's excited every time that you're excited. He's involved in everything that you are involved in. So this morning, we're excited about my dad. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 7 says, the righteous man walks in integrity. His children are blessed after him. His children are blessed after him. Your children are blessed to have you as a dad. Your children are blessed to have you involved in their lives. And so this morning, we've got to look at this stuff as my dad. See, because with God, here's the truth. We have nothing to offer him. And he has nothing to gain from us. Yet he still runs. You know, the story in the Bible about the prodigal son, I figure almost everybody's ever heard. That's one of the most popular stories in the Bible. And honestly, the story starts off with a father has two sons. It's not a story about the sons. It is a story about the father. It's a story about the father. And just like the sons, they didn't have anything to offer. And he didn't have anything to gain by taking his son back. But he still ran. And so you got to know that God, in your shortcoming, and when you mess up, and when I mess up, because we don't do it right all the time. We just don't. God still runs to us. God's still there for you. God still cares about you. You've not gone so far that God doesn't want to have a relationship with you. On this Father's Day, maybe you say, I haven't been that dad, I haven't been that father, but my kids are already grown, or I don't know how to do this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can still be dad. You know, I've seen young people, as I talked about a while ago, about 1,500 to 2,000 of them come through. And I've always seen, even the ones that have had issues with their dad, had issues with their father, but then their father do something, and it was still my dad. It was still my dad. And that's what you got to know, is you can still be that my dad. Man, we celebrate you dads this morning. Here's the things that a dad is. First of all, a dad, he's a provider. If you're going to be a dad, if you want to see a trait of a father, he's a provider. That's what he does. He provides what is needed in the home. He's a provider of covering. Of covering, I mean, as far as a home. He's a provider of covering for you for clothes. You know, he's a provider for you for a covering of needing a shower. I mean, you know, there's a lot more into being a provider than just bringing home a paycheck. You know, you're covering you, and being a provider of that covering is way more than just having a job. You know, some of you don't realize how many jobs your dads have. You know, and I look back, and my dad was a provider. And when I look back, I didn't know it at their age. I didn't realize it at their age. But my dad, he worked 2 full-time jobs, and he went to college full-time and graduated cum laude. For those that's like high honors. Okay. That's my dad. He's a provider. And when I look back, I didn't even realize it. Yeah, I knew he had a job. Yeah, I knew there was food on the table. Yeah, I knew he was going to school to get a degree, something like that. I didn't really, you know, I knew all that. But I look back now and I see the provider that he built in me.
That's good.
See, he built that in me. That has been established. And in my life, I will be a provider. And I don't care, and this may be your job, but I'm just giving you something. I don't care if I'm opening the window and saying you want fries with that. If I have to do that, I'll do that to provide for my family. But in my mind, the whole time, I'm thinking, I'm going to own this place one day. You see what I'm saying? Because we as providers, we don't just stop with just getting a check. We think of, let's take it another level. Let's take it another level. We're going to provide. We're going to provide. And this is not lifting myself up. I do kind of the same thing my dad did. I work 2 to 3 jobs. Not because I have to, but because I want to provide better. I want to be a provider for my family. Dads, you're providers. Provider of covering. You're a provider of an image. An image of what a real man is. An image of what a father should be. An image of what a husband should be. You're a provider of that image. You provide that every day. Some of you are happy and some of you aren't. You know what? Again, none of us are perfect. But we're still a provider of that. You're given an image to that young man in your home or that young woman in your home. An image of what God looks like. You know, you're the only image of God they'll ever see on this earth. And so you're loving and you're caring and your provisions, the way you do those things, that's the same image that they see in their Father in heaven. You're an image. You're a provider of an image. You're a provider of stability. My no's are no's and my yeses are yeses. And you know what, dads? That's hard, isn't it? Man, it's so hard. Because we want to be all yeses. But sometimes you're just stupid. I mean, sometimes it has to be a no. I'm going to give y'all just a little bit of help, okay? If it's something that you know is going to be a no, don't ask. And let me explain to you why. When I start with the no's get easier. Yeah. I did the same thing. I've done the same thing with Tom Underhill. Over the years, I always knew, and I would do my research, and I would look at what we were going to do and how we were going to do, And I would say, okay, is this something he's going to say no? Or is this something he's going to say yes? Or is this something he's going to say, I need to think about that? If he's going to think about it, then I'm going to be pretty close ready to present it. But if it's a hard no, I ain't even asking. Because once he starts telling, and you know what? In 16 years, he never told me no. Never told me no. Now, he didn't like some of the things. He wasn't real sure. And then afterwards, he was like, okay, we like that. That's good. Or he comes and says, let's not do that again. But never a no. Dad, you're a provider of stability. You cause stability in the home. You do. You cause stability in the home. See, in every area of this, ladies, you provide a lot of the same things, but you provide it in a different way. You know, a cake that's just flour and no milk, it's not a cake, right? It's not a cake. It takes all the ingredients to pull it together. Men, dads, you're a provider. You're a protector. You're a protector of life. You're a protector of love. You're a protector of spiritual growth. My girls will tell you, I am their protector. Now, their mama is the mean one. I'm just saying, she's the one that's she's tough. But when it comes to the orders being taken out, I'm the one that's taking it out. Right? The dogs even know that I'm dad. They do. Like they take the dogs outside and they're like trying to call them back to the house. Riggs, come here. Riggs, come here. I walk out the door and I go, Riggs. To the house he comes. Why? Because that protector is there. I am the protector, and I've been the protector of many a kids. Man, Tanya, we've gone and test drove vehicles, been at the movies when some of these kids were at the movies. They didn't know it was us because we test drove a vehicle to go do it. Huh, Alexis? Her husband, I went through his car. Before he was her husband. He was at their house. Saw that car. I didn't dig through it, but I made sure to see what was in there. What was going on. You know why? Because we're dads. We're protectors. That's who we are. And you don't want us any other way. I'm telling you, you don't want us any other way. One day, you're going to be, man, I'm so glad my dad was my protector. Yeah, you don't like it when we're doing it sometimes. But God placed that in us to be that protector of our homes, that protector of your life. There are reasons that I tell you you can't go do this or that. It's not just because I said so. See, my household, we don't do I said so's. My girls have never heard me say because I said so. Have you? When there's a reason of something to happen, they know why. And I will be graphic if I have to be. And they don't like it when I am. But I'm going to tell you why. I'm not going to just say because I said so. God did not make me because I'm said so dad. They're going to know. You're the protector of their life. You're the protector of their love. To see what love is, to know what love is. You protect that. You don't only show it, but you also protect it. Love's got to be protected in this world today. You know, our images of dads are so slanted in today's world because in the greatest generation, that's what your generation is known as, the greatest generation. I love that. The greatest generation, the image of dad was the Cleavers. You know, it was what's the other one? The sheriff, not Andy Griffith. Yeah, Aunt B, Andy Griffith. This was the image of dad. Stability, right? Protection. That's what we saw. In my generation, the whole image of a dad started to shift. And it was Homer Simpson. I mean, let's look at this. It was Al Bundy. And so all the image of what dad was dumb. Y'all realize that Homer Simpson worked at a nuclear plant? You're not supposed to be dumb working there. Not supposed to be dumb working there. You know, and so that's where the shift, it started, and dads became, they weren't the protectors of the home. They weren't the providers of the home. They were just this dumb image that didn't know, the kids knew better. You know, Full House, Danny Tanner. You know what? There's lots of good images in that. But there's also times when the kids are smarter than the dad in that show. But they do it real slick. My kids watch that show. They've got 100 and something episodes of that saved on our DVR. But some of those episodes I don't like because of the image. We didn't let our kids watch some of those shows that made dads or moms look stupid. Because we're not the stupid one in the family. Okay, we're not the uneducated one in the family. See, that's what I mean. We aren't that. Y'all aren't educated just yet. You're getting there. You're getting there. You're getting education. But we're not the ones that's uneducated. You're a protector of your home, guys. You're a protector of life, of love, and spiritual growth. You should know what is being taught at your church. Well, you know, the kids like going here. So, well, what do they teach? You know, he gets up and spits and yells and hollers and stuff. It's good. Okay. No, you're the protector of their spiritual growth. It's not about where they want to go. They should want to go, but it's not about just because they want to go. It's about what they're learning, how they're growing. Because if they're not growing, why go? If you sit in this church and you're not growing, you need to reevaluate. You need to reevaluate the way you're listening. You need to reevaluate if this is where you need to be. Because you need to be growing and your family needs to be growing. You're the father. You're the leader. You're the protector of their spiritual growth. You're the promoter. This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. You're the promoter of your children. You're the promoter of your home. You build confidence in them. You know, the dad is the one that when you're at the swing set, the dad's like, I go a little bit higher. The dad is the one when you're climbing the tree is like, you can go up one more limb. That's not mom. Mom's like, well, yeah, that's good enough. Oh, no. And they're looking, the scenarios, okay, well, we got to watch for this. Dad's like, no, you can do it. You can do it. You're the promoter of your home. Your kids, your family, your wife, all of them are there. How far they go in life is based off of how well you communicate to them that they can do it. Now, I'm going to tell you that our generation was lied to. And that's why we're in the situation we're in right now with people. Our generation was told you can be anything you want to be. And I'm going to tell you right here, and I'm going to stand and tell you, you cannot be whatever you want to be. Can you be a dog? Because there's some little kids that won't be dogs. Take that whatever direction you need to take that. But you see what I'm saying? There's 2 bathrooms. You see, our generation was told you could be whatever you want to be. My kids know that they cannot be whatever they want to be. They're going to be what God wants them to be. And I'm going to take and help them take that to another level. Because I'm backing them. I'm the promoter of them. You can swing a little higher. You can climb higher. You can ride that bike just a little bit faster. You can go just a little bit harder. Right? Right? Because I'm your promoter. Dads, that's you. You promote your kids. You promote your wife. If you don't like the image of the wife that you have, then you change it. A lot of times it's the way you've been treating her that's caused her to be that image that you don't like. She's a responder. God created women to be responders, and they respond to the situation that they are put in, and they become what is needed to fill the gap. God said it was not good for man to be alone. He created woman out of the side of man, not anywhere else but from the side. Why? To complete it. And so whatever you need to be completed, so wherever you come up short, guess what? She's strong there. And you're the promoter of what she can do in life. And last, you're the priest. You are the priest of your home. Men, we are the priest of our home. You know that statistics just came out that when kids come to know God first, 3.5% of the families join them. 3.5% of the families will join them if the kids come to know Christ first. If the mom comes to know Christ first, 17% of families come to know Christ, the whole family. But if the dad comes to know Christ first, 93% of families come to know Christ. That's not a knock on the kids. It's not a knock on the mom. It's just the fact that that's the way God created you, Dad. That might scare you, and it should just a little bit. But God knows you're not perfect, and He's not looking for perfection. He's looking for you to be there. Just being there makes up for a lot. Men, you are the priest of your home. Spiritual guidance comes from you. It can come from mom, but if you really want it to stick, it comes from you. That's who you are, Dad. And I see a lot of good ones. Man, do I see a lot of good ones. I'm proud of the men, the dads that I see, my dads that I see. My dad. Man, oh, my dad. Ken, that's good stuff, isn't it? My dad. Man, when that little boy wants Pops to take him fishing, that's right. See, both parents are needed because dads, you parent different, you play different, you build confidence different, you communicate different, you discipline different, you prepare for the real world different. You're needed. All those areas, you do it different than mom. And a lot of times mom doesn't understand how you do it. You know why? She's not dad. She's not dad. She can't understand you. And guys, we know we don't understand them. That's just a given. That book has not been written. We're learning every day. That pursuit happens every day. You're different, Dad, and you're needed. You know, Dad, you taking the kids, you throw them up in the air and catching them a little bit higher, right? And Mom's like, no, not a little bit higher. You're in the floor and you're roughhousing with them. Do you know that those things are actually teaching them things? Did you know that those kids that have dads that roughhouse with them in the house, that those are the ones that normally, whenever they come into a group of kids, they're not the ones that bite other kids. They're not the ones that push other kids, because they learn in roughhousing with dad what's acceptable, what's not. They learn that there's a limit. Okay, that's too far. I got to stop. My kids are still learning limits. And I'm teaching them to them. That's you, Dad. Today is about you, Dad. We celebrate you. In 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8, it says, "But if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for these of his household, he is denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever." You know, being a provider for your family is worse than being an unbeliever. Wow. And so I want to say to all you families too, that's why it's so important for Dad to be a provider. We rate being a provider above all the others, because it even says in the Bible that if we don't provide, we're worse than an unbeliever. But we're not just a provider. You're way more than that, Dad. You're way more. I encourage each of you, if you can, text your dad, call your dad, go see your dad if you can. But make contact with him and tell him you love him. I wrote my dad yesterday, a text message, a big long one, mushy, all mushy like. He wrote me one back. Maybe you're sitting there and you're thinking, but I've not been that good dad. Today's the day. This Father's Day today is the day that you change that. Today's the day. You can be that dad. Yeah, but you don't know what I'm not. It doesn't matter. The Father accepts you, they will accept you. You know what? They might be mad a little bit at first, but eventually, you'll be dad. And it'll be, you know what? My dad wasn't in my life for most of my life, but now I got a dad. You could be that. My plan is that I see. You know, it's kind of funny. I don't. Other guys, you can tell me if this fits for y'all. I'm a big guy. I don't know if y'all noticed. And so, in my mind, my girls should be attracted to big guys. And when they're attracted to little ones, I'm like, you know, Ava's like The Rock. I'm like, okay. Chris Hemsworth. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. But then these little boy band guys, and it's like, he's not a protector like I am. Am I right, guys? Because we want them, we think that they should be attracted to the image that we are. Because I'm providing that image. Now, they could still be a few pounds less than me. I could be a few pounds less than me, right? I love being a dad. One of the greatest gifts God has ever given us is getting to be a dad. I am excited because it's not going to be long before you know what? Probably this time next year, Josiah will be sitting there being a dad. Dylan ain't far off being a dad. It's not. Ty, going to be a dad. Man. And all of us dads are like, oh, I don't envy that, but I love it all at the same time. You get to be all those things. You are all those things. Thank you, dads. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for letting me talk to you about being a dad. And where we began in Proverbs chapter 27, it says, I'm going to read it to you one more time. The righteous man walks in integrity, and his children are blessed after him. Be that dad. Be a my dad. Is that good? Okay, stand up.
This has been Living Faith from the Russellville Christian Center. We pray that this message has uplifted, encouraged, and motivated you today. You can find us online at rccenter.org or visit us at 305 Lakefront Drive, Russellville, Arkansas.